It's probably hard to imagine, but after 12 seasons, Mike Evans is moving on from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, headed to the San Francisco 49ers on a 3-year contract. The 32-year-old hits free agency, decides to find a new place call home, and gets a 3-year deal in the process. And the deal is worth $60.4 million. We've only ever known Mike Evans in a Tampa Bay jersey. And now on screen, you're getting a sneak peek of what he'll look like in the San Francisco home unis this year. And 32 years old, a 3-year deal, playing until he's 35 now. Is he going to be able to keep up the pace that we've seen over the course of his first 12 years? Or are the injury issues that popped up last season going to plague him moving forward? Last season was the first season in his 12-year career he did not cross 1,000 receiving yards. It's also the most games he's ever missed in his NFL career. And you could argue that maybe some of the games he missed wasn't necessarily like a hampering injury. Obviously, he had the collarbone landing on his arm there in Detroit. A lot of different things played into a down season for him last year. But he's been one of the most productive Tampa Bay Buccaneers of all time. And now he's going to head to San Francisco to hopefully keep some of that up. This is obviously massive for Brock Purdy. He's probably losing Juwan Jennings. He's already lost Brandon Ayuk after they cut him loose with whatever's going on in the background between him and San Francisco. And you still have Christian McCaffrey, but they needed a legitimate wide receiver one. And now they've got it in Mike Evans. And even if he's not the Mike Evans that we've seen with 11 straight 1,000-yard seasons, he should still be pretty darn good. And if Ricky Pearsall can stay healthy, it gives him a nice 1-2 punch when you also add in Christian McCaffrey too. It is interesting to note that the San Francisco 49ers, who dealt with injuries all over the place last season, are bringing in a 32-year-old wide receiver to try and help establish some consistency for Brock Purdy. That feels like it could be, I don't want to say a disaster, but it feels like we're not really playing with house money right now. This is a major risk in my opinion. They could have tried to go a little bit younger. They could have maybe looked at re-signing Juwan Jennings instead, but they decided to go with the it factor of Mike Evans. Clearly, they still feel like this guy has it, and they're not really worried about his health moving forward, which is going to be key for a team that has dealt with a ton of injuries the last couple of years. I wonder if Mike Evans knows about that substation that everyone thinks is what's breaking down their players right now. For Brock Purdy, having Mike Evans is going to put him inside the top 12 conversation. For Christian McCaffrey, I don't think we're going to see a huge reduction in his workload. I still think we're going to see about the same amount of carries on the ground, maybe a little bit less in terms of receptions and targets, but Brock Purdy loves himself some Christian McCaffrey, and a receiving running back is a Kyle Shanahan staple. When you talk about Ricky Pearsall, I think this probably delays a breakout a little bit at this point, especially considering the fact he's not staying healthy. But if he can stay healthy this season, and we see maybe a few more of those targets disappear from Christian McCaffrey, they would have to go to Ricky Pearsall. So that would be the biggest question mark here is, do you feel like with the addition of Mike Evans, and let me know down in the comments below, if Christian McCaffrey should still be drafted is really the number 3 overall player, the number 3 running back in a majority of fantasy drafts next year? You could probably argue this benefits Emeka Egbuka the most. Last season when he was at his best, Mike Evans was not on the field. And later on down the stretch, when Mike Evans ended up trying to return, and even after Chris Godwin ended up coming back and then going off the field, it just felt like Emeka Egbuka was not the same player that he was at the beginning of the year. He's now the number 1 in this offense. Chris Godwin is the number 2. And also keep in mind, they got rid of Rachaad White, but Kenneth Gainwell is going to be coming in too. And with Kenneth Gainwell being with the Buccaneers now, you got to wonder what his passing work will end up looking like. I don't think it's a big miss, though, by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They still have other guys that can come in. Jalen McMillan is another one that can come in and produce at the wide receiver position. Losing a guy like Mike Evans is never easy, but from a fantasy standpoint, I really don't think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are hurting all that much, especially if the defense isn't better than what it was last season and they still have to throw it quite a bit. Helliner Nation, let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. And if you're a Tampa Bay fan and you hate to see Mike Evans go, I'm sorry for your loss. However, he's still going to be a Hall of Famer. And part of the reason why is because of what he did through Tampa Bay all of those years. Make sure that you hit the subscribe button, turn on the bell notifications. We're going to be dropping breaking news content throughout the entire free agent cycle, but you're also going to want to stick around for all of the breakdown videos after the dust settles and we know exactly where guys are going. Stay safe and healthy. I'll catch you on the next episode of the Fantasy Headliners.
Analytics, off the chain, all the channels, not the same. Jake and Kyle,